Trump signs funding bill into law, ending record-long government shutdown. So this happened yesterday. Maybe I'm a little behind the times, but President Donald Trump on Wednesday night signed into law legislation that reopens the federal government and ends an acrimonious 43-day shutdown, the longest in American history. If you've watched my previous videos, I'm a little upset. We should have gone the full 60 days. Technically, we would have had to go a little bit longer than the full 60 days. A reduction in force, the letting federal employees go, takes at least 60 days from notice. So you get 60 days notice to let go a federal worker. This to me is insane, just from the perspective of the fact that, like, I've been laid off from work before. I got no previous acknowledgement. It was bye-bye, you're gone. So this is ridiculous. Now, I do believe that the legislature can defund a department or organization, and in so doing, it means that they lose their job. Maybe it's still not instantaneous. Maybe it's still 60 days. I'm not sure how it works exactly. But I'm upset. I am genuinely upset for two reasons. Either the shutdown should have been a huge win by a reduction in force, okay? There were 1.4 million federal workers who were not allowed to work or were required to work but weren't allowed pay. Some of them, of course, being the military, some of them being the air traffic controllers. There's a lot of good people that I think do deserve to get paid. And so I'm not saying that all 1.4 don't deserve to get paid or anything, but I'm saying we have too many federal workers, and it upsets me, right? We needed longer so that we could let them go. Or the other win, and I'm really mad at Republicans for this, you should just end the filibuster and actually just vote for the things that the American people want. And I blame the American people too. We keep voting for these horrible congressmen and senators. Okay. We need, like, I'm probably wrong, but from now on, I just want to vote for the person that no one knows about. I'm just going to ask around and be like, have you heard of this guy? And everyone says no. I'm going to be like, I'm going to vote for him. Because when we vote for the people who are given the money, where are they getting this money? Okay. If you're receiving money, you probably have someone who is helping to fund you, which means they're going to want their back scratched because they funded you. So if you win, you owe someone something. Like, there's no way around the whole money thing other than just voting for the person who has no money. And they just, they're like, hey, I'm going to run, throw my name in the ring. Let's see what happens. Like, at this point, I'd rather vote for that person because there's so many corrupt individuals on all layers of government. I feel like our whole government is just corrupt at this point. And corruption just follows wherever the power is, right? Wherever the power can be, corruption is going to try to find that. That is I hate when people are like, capitalism is just so corrupt and it allows for corruption. I'm like, tell me one government that doesn't allow for corruption. One single government that we've ever tried in the history of this world that doesn't lead to corruption at some point or another. Your problem isn't necessarily the system. Now, I do believe that systems have pros and cons and they've got benefits. I think capitalism has led to the lowest amounts of poverty we've ever seen globally, ever. So for that alone, I think it wins. But when we look at all the other governments, corruption just creeps in. How do we stop corruption? Well, part of it is we've allowed way too many people to just have this inherent right to be able to vote. That is not how this country started. You had to be a landowner to vote. There was a bunch of other requirements to vote, like having to participate in the fire brigade. There are civic duties that we should be responsible for if you live in a community. If you were born into a community that already exists, as you grow up, you will have responsibilities to those communities. When we tell people you just get a vote and you have no responsibility to that community, it leads to more corruption. We need to remove that. And my point in bringing this up is 60 days to let go somebody. We can't just lay off federal workers if it is for the greater good because they get 60 days. Why did they get 60 days notice? This doesn't exist anywhere else. Oh, I'm upset. All right, I'm going to get back on point. Trump's signature, which restores funding that has been frozen or halted for weeks, came shortly after the House voted 222 to 209 to send him the measure. 6 Democrats joined nearly all Republicans in voting yes, and 2 Republicans joined most Democrats in voting no. The Senate approved the same legislation on Monday when 8 Democrats peeled off and voted with Republicans to break a filibuster and end the shutdown. Again, there just shouldn't even be a shutdown. A filibuster. Republicans, just stand up, have some moral character, have some actual meekness, because I know everyone thinks they know what meekness means, but you don't. Meekness is strength. Okay? You stand up for what you believe and you hold your ground. But it also means you don't do evil in the face of evil. How is it ending the filibuster evil? If you can explain that to me, maybe I'll agree with you. Otherwise, it's just evil what you're doing because you're just not actually pushing the agenda for the people who voted for you. Republicans have shouted long and hard what we want, and it would not be hard for you to end the filibuster and give the Republicans who voted with the mandate in large numbers for what they want. Oh, I'm mad, guys. I'm sorry. All right. I'm not the one being meek. I'm very mad. I got to work on my patience. I gotta calm it down, right? All right. So I just want to tell the American people, you should not forget this. When we come up to the midterms and other things, don't forget what we've done to what they've done to our country, Trump said. So Trump is effectively blaming Democrats. I don't blame Democrats. I blame Congress and I blame the Senate. Mostly the Senate. The Congress, for the most part, had it together. The Senate's the one holding us back for the most part. And again, just end the filibuster. So at this point, the people who could have ended the filibuster and could have just moved forward with the plans that the American people want is the Republicans. All right. Johnson said he felt very relieved before pointing the finger across the aisle, saying Democrats were responsible for this. Like they keep trying to pass the buck, and to be honest, something has shifted. I don't know what it is, but something has shifted in the last week or two, at least from my perspective and listening to individuals talk, other news anchors and news commentary people, podcasts, listening to everything that I listen to. Something has shifted. I don't know what it is, but I think Republicans have failed its people, and the Republican leadership is what I'm referring to, not necessarily, right? When I say the Republicans, I'm referring to those that are actually in Congress, those that are in the Senate, those that are running the GOP, just anything Republican at this point. We already know that the Democrats have already failed us. The Republicans, in my opinion, have also been failing us. But at this point, something shifted. I kind of feel like this was our last opportunity. And we've turned it down. What that last opportunity is exactly, I don't know. Maybe it has to do with the Epstein files. I know that they're trying to push to get those released, and we definitely need to find out what that is. And Republicans aren't voting for that either. All 4 Republicans from Utah didn't vote for that. What's up? I need to calm down. Okay, so we know about millions of people. 40 million people are on SNAP benefits. 42 million. That's nearing a seventh, an eighth of the U.S. population is needing supplemental nutritional, I don't forget what it stands for, but needs SNAP, needs nutrition. Something is broken. I don't believe the economy's fine. The economy is definitely not fine. Everyone can feel it. Everybody knows it. But we keep pointing to the GDP and we keep pointing to the S&P and the NASDAQ and everything. All of these corporations are doing great. No, I think we just have this giant bubble. I keep getting distracted. I'm sorry, but the economy is failing. Okay. So the legislative package includes a minibus of 3 appropriation bills providing funding through September and keeps the rest of the government open at current levels through January 30th. So this is more of a stopgap. This isn't a complete new bill. This is to open up the government and to deal with some of the issues. So help pay the military, help pay for SNAP benefits, help pay the traffic controllers. There's a bunch of things that actually go until September, or I guess it says there's 3 included in the 3 appropriation bills. It includes full funding for SNAP. I'm just going to say that. We've already talked about the people. The legislation also provides limited protection for federal workers who've been under assault since Trump's inauguration. So that's another thing that they added in is Trump was like, hey, we're going to let people go because you won't open the government. And then they're like, okay, if we open the government, will you stop letting them go and just let them come back? At least until January 30th. So Trump signed that, so can't fire anybody anymore. In a major concession from Democrats, the bill does not include an extension of enhanced subsidies under the Affordable Care Act or Obamacare. So hopefully, like, we just need to get rid of Obamacare. I don't understand why we don't even just get rid of Obamacare. I understand that, like, I'm going to put it this way. Because of the 4 years that a president gets, we don't ever think long term. I've brought this up in a couple of videos before. We never think long term. We always think short term. Americans need to get used to the idea of sacrifice, because it's either going to be forced upon us and it's going to suck, or we can have a little less suck and just do it now. Life's hard. Life has been hard. For thousands of years, we had to work every day just to eat. Now we have obese people on SNAP. SNAP was supposed to be supplemental nutrition. How could they be fat if it's supplemental? We have a problem and a sickness in this country, and we have to root it out. And there are so many problems that just keep getting exacerbated and worse. And if we don't end them now and embrace the suck now, it's only going to get worse. And I fear that that will be in when my children are coming more of age. Also, because I'll be really old, and at that point, you know, like, I mean, I could be really old is my point, right? What if I'm really old and then crap hits the fan and I'm stuck in a wheelchair or bedridden or something and I can't do anything about it and I just get to lay there and die. So maybe that would be better. I don't know. Push it off until I die. Many of House and Senate Democrats are fuming over the failure to secure the health care funding as part of the bill. Senate Majority Leader John Thune has promised a Senate vote on a to-be-determined ACA funding bill with no guarantees that it will pass. Well, yeah, you can't guarantee it. He's the minority leader, so like he would have to convince Republicans. That's just kind of a stupid statement. In the House Rules Committee on Tuesday, Republicans rejected Democrat motions to guarantee a floor vote on the ACA funding extension. I've talked about that enough. I will also say it's funny, they don't point this out, but they also paid themselves through all of next year. So even if the government shuts down again in January, they're like, well, we'll still get paid because we gave ourselves funding. Ridiculous. The House Freedom Caucus has fought in lockstep with President Trump and Republican leadership in Congress, the Freedom Caucus document said. In the floor vote, the two Republicans who bucked their leadership and opposed the bill were Reps Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Greg Steube of Florida. I mean, I expected Thomas Massie. I have a lot of respect for Thomas Massie. I think he's a man of principle. We don't share the exact same principles, but I appreciate him holding to his guns. I will also say, like, if you voted for me, I'm not running. If I ever ran and I was in this position, I would vote no too. The only way I could vote for anything is to stop spending money we don't have. We don't have the money. Our interest on the debt is now $1 trillion. $1 trillion just in interest to pay off the debt. We have way worse problems, and that is going to come and bite us in the butts worse than anything else ever will. And at some point, we're going to have to embrace the suck, and it feels like everyone's just trying to push it off until they're dead. To be honest, that's what it feels like for me. It's just a bunch of boomers being like, you know, we've got ourselves in this situation. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see it. Let's just try to push it off until we all die. Then the next generations can deal with it. Well, here's the deal. It's already here. Gen Z already feels it. Gen Z is struggling. To that point, weak times make strong men. Gen Z, don't be the weak man in a weak time that gives up. Stand strong. There is opportunity around us. There's always an opportunity. You just need to find it and seize it and run with it. Become the strong man we need. You're going to have to figure out what that is. And I can't always direct you. No one can, is my point. Not me specifically, but like no one will be able to direct you what to do other than yourself. If you believe in God, you're God. This is another favorite part. Tucked inside the bill is a provision that generated heavy pushback from Democrats and even some grumbling among House Republicans. It allowed senators, but not House members, to sue the federal government for hundreds of thousands of dollars, $500,000, if their phone records were obtained without prior notification as part of the January 6th investigation. So, to be fair, the government the FBI looked at some of the Senator Republicans' phone data and they want to sue. My problem is, why should you get $500,000 in damages? I don't think you deserve $500,000 in damages. You're part of Congress. How much damage could it have done? It's not like you were removed from Congress. It's not like you have lost your job as a congressman. You were one of the most powerful people in the world, or at least you should be if you actually reined in the power that you've given to the bureaucracy and to the president. You guys should be the most powerful people in the world. Why do you deserve $500,000? That's what upsets me. Go ahead and allow them to sue, but let them sue that actually is in a way that can help us hold the government accountable, not necessarily just for the money. Now, I understand you're going to have attorney fees and all that. Sure, the government can pay for that. That means us, the people. But like, why do you deserve $500,000? I don't understand that. Although emotions are raw in the Democratic caucus over some of their senators caving, party leaders say the high-stakes showdown with Trump and the Republicans crystallized how Democrats are fighting for health care and affordability for millions of Americans. That economic message, they say, juiced turnout and propelled them to victory in last week's election in Virginia and New Jersey and will help the party in 2026. Sadly, I think it will. I think when people struggle, they look for alternative means to gain something, especially politically, right? It's why when the right wins, the left wins in the midterms, or when the left wins, the right wins in the midterms. Like, there's enough people who are moderate or in the middle that are like, well, the party didn't do what we hoped it was going to do, and they're not solving my problem, so I'm going to vote for the other party. And to be honest, I get very annoyed by all the independents and the moderates, or whatever you want to call them, because it's like, go form your own side then. Stop with this game. There shouldn't be this game where you're just like, I'm going to vote Republican, now I'm going to vote Democrat. Like, why can't America just have like a singular vision, more importantly? And I understand that we don't, and I understand that we won't, at least not right now. So might as well have a third party. Go be a moderate and actually vote for someone on your side, so you stop with the flip-flop, because the flip-flop is what's really destroying our country. Pick a side. Again, because 4 years, right? It's always 4 years. Every 4 years, someone has to change and alter what we've already done. And so nothing will ever get done. Or when it does, it's always in benefit of the bureaucracy and the government and whatever it is. So effectively, I'm done reading this. The government shutdown is over. SNAP benefits, people are already receiving SNAP benefits. I think there was an article in Desert News that said some people in Utah have already received the funds for SNAP. Congress and the Senate decided to pay themselves for a full year. For next year, they are going to fund the military, it sounds like, if I got that part right. Anything? Oh, yeah, there was an additional protection for members of Congress, Supreme Court justices, and executive officials. So they increased the budget for security because things are getting crazy. But again, I'm going to argue, you guys are the ones making it crazy. You could just be enforcing the law and actually holding people accountable and actually doing the job that you were voted to do. But, again, Republicans act as a pressure release valve. That's it. I think they're, for the most part, in bed with the Democrats. They all have a singular goal, and that's why it keeps getting worse, and why Americans are like, why does it keep getting worse? We keep voting and we keep flip-flopping. And it's like, well, one side slows it down. The other side tries to do it as fast as possible. And there we are. I'm going to leave it there. If you like what I do or anything that I say, go ahead and share this video, like, subscribe. I'm in a little bit of a mood today, kind of upset me. I'm not sure why, but I don't know. Maybe you found it enjoyable hearing me rant like I did. Like the video, subscribe. Until next time.